Things are happening. Things are definitely happening. Pressure, 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 pressure. That's a rap song. Yeah. I had to find it. This is dude. He's rapping, and the only words to the song that I can remember is pressure. And he just kept saying pressure, pressure, pressure. And Valerie, she does it too. So it's hilarious when she does it, because it's like anytime somebody's trying to like sell her on something, she'll start singing the song. I think it's cute, but it's funny as hell.
Yeah, it makes me think of the song Under Pressure.
Oh yeah, that's a good one too.
Queen and David Bowie. And then also Vanilla Ice stole that beat.
Mm-hmm.
So
almost got himself sued.
Yeah, I end up going ice, ice, baby. I was like, wait a minute, where's the word pressure? Cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, welcome. We are at episode 10. Yeah, we've done this 10 times in a row now. Episode pressure. Putting the pressure on to stay consistent.
Yeah. We make it look easy.
That's right.
Yeah, right.
It is a lot easier of a process nowadays than it was in the past.
Yeah.
But we wanted to take a moment before we got into the episode to just kind of like tell people who may be new to our show who we are, what we're about, and I thought that it would be funny to put James on the spot and just have him tell you guys.
Oh yeah, well, hey, that's awesome. Thank you. Didn't write anything down, but just, I mean, what this show is about, we're two guys who have experienced 4 decades of life experiences, and while we haven't been able to get everything right, we still are here. We're still trying to figure out the secrets to life, and figured we'd take an opportunity to kind of show you or tell you what we've experienced and how we've navigated different aspects of our life, and how jiu-jitsu along the way has kind of enhanced those scenarios, and how a lot of things in jiu-jitsu and life commingle, and how one can help prepare you for the other. We are, as we always say, we're not experts by any means. We don't have the secret sauce. We haven't figured this thing out yet, but we're just here to give you a different perspective, and hopefully something we say will enhance your life or make it easier for you.
That was beautiful, James.
Hey, thank you.
I think you hit the nail on the head as far as just honing in on the fact that we're not particularly experts at life.
Yeah.
But this is more about connecting through experiences. And, sometimes on this show we might share some personal stories. A lot of it we try to connect back to jiu-jitsu, as you said before. And if you're somebody who's been listening and has stayed with us since we begun our new journey on this show, if you would, please subscribe. We have YouTube, Spotify. You can follow us on Instagram or Facebook. Like, comment on videos you might see. We also have a Gmail if you guys want to write in and anything specific you want us to talk about or go over. You can send that to beonthemats@gmail.com. That's it. Yeah. Thinking on the fly here.
It's fine.
Got
Everybody knows.
I'm feeling the pressure,
Yeah,
you know?
everybody knows. Like, this is not scripted. Everybody knows what it's like to be on the spot. Like, I literally just did it. Sometimes you gotta be able to react.
That really helps you deal with the pressure when somebody says everybody knows.
Yeah, everybody knows. Like, we're all struggling.
That's true.
You show me the person who's got life figured out, and I will show you a liar and probably a cheater. Like, there's no way that anybody's got this thing completely figured out to a point where it's absolute.
There's definitely one dude listening right now who's like, I think I've got it down.
Oh yeah. There's always the one.
I think that mindset though does come and go. I think sometimes you're like, yeah, this is fine.
Yeah, and in those moments where I say, even to myself, that I say this is fine, I'm really usually dying on the inside, and I'm saying it just so I can get past that moment, because I need the next page to turn. So you got to accept what's happening, and that's where this is fine comes from for me. Like, I got to accept what's happening and feel what I feel, and okay, now let's see what the next thing is.
Like bottom side control.
Oh my God.
Usually the next thing is tapping.
Yep. Or, you know what? Smash bottom half. That's pretty bad too.
That's bad too, yeah.
I feel like that may be worse.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the first thing people notice when they start sparring in jiu-jitsu is there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And like we've said before, usually it comes from you being on the bottom of somebody else.
Yeah.
And they're laying it on, and you just cannot move them. You were just stuck.
Yeah. And, it's funny. It happens to the strongest guys. It happens to the most flexible people. Like, there's all those individuals that think, like, oh, yeah, I should be able to get out of this, no problem. But the second you push against the weight of another person as they're actively trying to push their weight on top of you, it gets heavier than a barbell. Like, you might be able to bench 350, but bench somebody that's maybe 250 and pressing, it gets a whole lot heavier much faster.
Now, what's cool about jiu-jitsu specifically is that we learn how to use other people's pressure against them.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're able to learn how to get frames, recover, get to a guard, closed guard probably being the most common thing that people who haven't seen or like maybe have microdose jiu-jitsu, they know what closed guard is.
Yeah. If you've watched the UFC, you know what half guard and closed guard is.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when there's too much pressure from the top player, what happens? They end up getting swept.
Yeah, they put themselves in a bad position.
Yeah, or they allow themselves to get exposed to a submission.
Yeah.
So
I mean, and there's all kinds of places where you'll feel that pressure. I mean, knee on belly. I remember my old manager, he came to a class and Alex put him in knee on belly one time, and he didn't stop talking about knee on belly for probably 3 months straight. And he had this whole Venn diagram he had put together of how to prevent getting put in knee on belly and how to escape knee on belly and how to deal with being in knee on belly. It changed his whole life, just that one technique.
I've seen it spelt online as neon, like neon lights,
like a neon sign.
Yeah. I actually think that's fun.
I've seen a shirt like that before, where it's just neon, kind of like in like the sign we got at the gym, the neon, where it's just one connected tube. It says neon, then at the bottom belly.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was clever.
It's I mean, that position, it's nicknamed the ego crusher.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, if that was the only other name that we call it, it would be fitting because that's exactly what it does. And I think everybody who's started jiu-jitsu at some point or the other has tapped to a guy who's laid on that knee on belly position.
Oh, yeah.
Like, really pulled into it.
Yep. Mike Turner did that to me once. I'll never forget that day. I was a white belt. He was trying to show me something. He was like, hey, check this out, James. He put me in a knee on belly, and then he grabbed my collars and really pulled into me. I felt his knee go through my back.
Ugh.
It was bad.
I would take that over Mike's north-south position any day of the week.
Yeah.
I'll take knee to the gut over taint in my face any day of the week.
His knee on bellies are going to suck for a little bit, though.
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
You know
got
why.
broke-ass knee. That's why. So pressure from a positional standpoint, staying on that topic for a minute, like what makes jiu-jitsu so successful as a sport, and if we're talking specifically about the gi, is the positional fighting.
Mm-hmm.
So like side control to knee on belly to either mount or the back. There's a hierarchy of positions that you follow that all rely on putting pressure on the bottom player. And what that does, consequently, is it puts pressure on them and starts to plant seeds of doubt in their mind on whether or not they can get it out, they can escape, they can survive.
Yeah.
So when you put focus on those things, you put focus on breaking their will through the pressure of positional fighting, sometimes that presents submission opportunities a lot easier than putting, I would say, the incorrect pressure on yourself to get like a highlight reel submission finish.
Yeah. I also think that in those moments when you are applying pressure correctly, even a person that is decently trained and skilled, they could easily fall in the trap of like, this is so much pain, this is so much pressure that I can't even concentrate. I just got to get out of this situation. And they abandon all of their training and make the wrong move, which makes it easier for you to capitalize on it. As knee on belly is a good example. If you put somebody in knee on belly and it's just in the right place at the right moment where they feel like they can't get a full breath of air, but they don't want to tap, instead of turning into you and focusing on the knee, instead they may try to turtle. And if they do, that opens up the back, and it's a very easy back take at that point.
And if you're a positionally focused fighter, you can anticipate those mistakes that the bottom player makes, and makes your job a lot easier.
Oh, yeah.
Versus when they see the submission attempt that you're trying to put on them, and all of their attention goes to defense against that submission.
Yep. Or the exact opposite. They're so focused, and this happens with a lot of lower belts. They focus so much on the knee on belly that they want to push you off, and they give you the arm. And next thing you know, the arm bar is right there.
And you're not rushing from position to position. You're cooking every single one, right? So you're spending a little time into one position, waiting for your moment. You set up the next one. They say, as long as the bottom player is moving, you got to be moving. So the pressure starts really laying in once the bottom player starts conceding the position that you've put them in.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of people say in life, pressure is what you feel when you don't know what to do. And I would say that's pretty accurate. I remember as a white belt getting in some of the tougher positions and thinking to myself, I don't know how to get out of this, and I cannot breathe. I've got to get this person off of me. And that's when you start just trying to hulk out of stuff, and it usually puts you in a worse position. So as I've gotten more experience in the sport, then I start to look at it from a standpoint of, okay, well, I'm okay here. I will survive. This knee belly is not actually cutting off my ability to be able to breathe. While it's not comfortable, I can still breathe. So let me focus on the thing that is actually the problem, make space, get my guard back in front of me, and then start playing again.
Yeah, I think newcomers put unnecessary pressure on themselves to perform in the room.
Oh, yeah.
Like if I had to tell them any piece of advice, if you're listening and you're worried about, well, first of all, don't put pressure on yourself to be good. You're not going to be.
No.
Unless you're some phenom athlete, D1 wrestler who comes in and you only want to do no-gi. Yeah, maybe you'll do okay.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll be special.
Yeah.
But for your average Joe, specifically, dads between the ages of like 30 and 50 that come into this sport, it's a learning process.
It is.
And you have to make sure you relieve yourself of the pressure of being good at this right off the bat.
Yeah. Like you stepped into the room because you wanted to train, you wanted to learn. So allow yourself that grace and patience to say, you know what, I'm not going to be good at it. And that's okay. Like nobody in this room is expecting me to be good. We're just expecting you to keep coming.
Yeah, and for those of you that are really hung up on the idea of not being good, just, dude, you're not special.
Yeah.
Bro, you're not special, bro. Like,
this
it's okay.
literally is counterintuitive to most everything your body is designed to do. Like, that's why it works.
Yeah, and most everybody, including you, if you're getting started and you think you're special and you should be able to be good as a white belt, I think you need to understand that everybody who is new to this does the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the guys who have been in the room, who have put the time in, they can predict what you're going to do because everybody's done it.
Everybody's done it. It is pure pattern recognition. We've seen it. We've done it. We've experienced it. So at some point you start saying like, okay, this guy's going to push in really hard. And once he does, I'm going to put my feet in his hips and flip him over the top of my head. Everybody does it and everybody's experienced it. It's okay. We expect it.
Yeah. And just, just fall in line.
Yeah.
Like it's okay.
Lower your self-expectations.
That's it.
You are not a bad person because you lose in jiu-jitsu.
Now, there is a real pressure that also comes from the competition aspect.
Oh, yeah.
I think early on is when people tend to compete the most when they first get started. And for good reason, I think competition does elevate your abilities quicker. Mm-hmm. I also think that it tightens up areas of your life that you may not otherwise be focused on. Once you sign up for a competition, all of a sudden you start eating better, you start exercising more.
Getting more sleep, all the things.
But it's the mental pressure that I think gets to most people.
It
and
is.
what they have to train. And this is something that I've experienced for certain anytime I've competed. And it takes practice. But your confidence and the relief of that pressure comes from the work you do. Would you agree?
Oh yeah. Like I've always told people that, and including myself, whenever I think to myself I'm struggling getting ready for a tournament, or I see someone getting ready for a tournament and they're struggling, I tell them like, hey, this is the actual tournament right now. Like, would I want to perform well on the mat? Yeah, I do. But the hard work is happening right now. Once I get out on that mat and bump hands and slap fists, bump hands, all of that, and that's only 5 minutes. Like that 5 minutes will go by so quickly, and depending on how many matches you've got that day, it's a pretty short day. It's not even the equivalent of going to open mat. You'll get more rolls there than you will at a tournament in most cases. So whatever you're feeling is self-induced, and that pressure, you have to decide like, hey, how am I going to deal with this? Do I want it to consume me, or should I start looking for ways to kind of relieve that pressure valve just a little bit so I can stay in the right mental space?
And there is lots of ways to help with that pressure. One is trying to recreate what you're going to experience on tournament day.
Yeah, healthy ways.
This is something that actually I run a private lesson with some of the kids in the kids program, and one of them suggested, like, Coach Jeff, you need to put on some loud crowd noises. And it's something we have not done in our competition class yet during those spotlight matches we put on. So I was like, well, yeah, we absolutely need to start doing that.
Yeah, I agree.
But just recreating what that atmosphere will feel like as best you can. And then also, I think if you're only competing once, that puts a lot of pressure on one moment. And people tend to, and I'm speaking for myself, I know I've done this in the past, where I put a lot of pressure on this one moment, and I think that this moment's going to somehow
define you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the reason that it feels that way is because you're already putting it in a finite spot where it's like, I'm never going to do this again. I have to perform, because you know, a lot of us aren't planning to be competitors full time. We want to do it to test ourselves. We want to just try it out. So in that regard, if you're feeling a lot of pressure, I think something that could help with that, if you plan on competing, is do more than one. Like, get yourself some experience while you've got the itch to do it. That way, if things don't go your way the first time, you've got a film to study on what happened, what went wrong with your game, and now you can go into the next one with not only experience, but now a better idea of where you need to improve.
Yeah. I think some of the pressure that people feel from competitions as well is not only of what's going to happen in the match and how they perform, it's also that self-induced pressure of how are my peers and my instructor going to view me as well. Because there's an aspect of it, like you kind of hold your instructor to a certain regard. You hold your peers in high regard as well. If you have good training partners, which we do, if you don't perform well in front of them, it feels like you've kind of slighted them or you let them down. And that's not the case. I mean, these people you train with every day, they know what you're capable of, and they know everybody's got a day where they come out on top and a day where they're the bottom. So it's not as bad as you think it is. You're really, if you go to a gym and people make you feel bad for losing a tournament, you probably don't belong there.
Yeah, it's a tricky situation, right? Because sometimes guys come out there and they haven't really been training, and they go out anyway to compete, or they sign up, but they don't actually come into the room to get the work in, or they're not training properly, and they've been given suggestions, they've been given guidance, and they go out there and then they lose. I mean, I don't think, as a coach, I don't get upset with people when they don't train or prepare properly, but I do just point out the facts. It's like, I mean, like, maybe that's what that person needed to grow into the next stage. But some people just they don't want to turn on the hearing. They kind of have their own ideas on what they think they need to do, and if it doesn't work out the way they want it to work out, then they kind of like disappear sometimes.
And I don't think, and that's not the person I'm referring to. That person, the one that is barely on the mats, barely training, and kind of half foot in, half foot out, preparing for a tournament. Like, I mean, you're going to get the results that you put forward. I'm referring to the person that is in the room often, all the time, doing the rolls, doing the rounds, putting the extra hours in, and just has a tough day on the mat.
Yeah.
That person, I don't think anybody's going to look back at them and say, hey, well, you probably should have trained a couple more days if they were training 6-7 days a week.
Yeah, and I think most people who are putting in the work know that they did everything they could.
Yeah.
And that helps too. Like, it's when you know you didn't do everything you could that you feel that a little extra, like you let people down potentially. But here's the reality. You really just let yourself down. Like most people are worried about their own stuff, and especially a coach tends to have more than just one person that they're worried about. Because my job as a coach is just to like help you fulfill your goals as a practitioner, whether it be just getting better, competition, leadership. You know, my goal is to figure out what your goals are and help you climb towards them.
Yeah.
So I think every experience you have on the mat, whether it's competing or not, all of that stuff, the pressure that you're putting on yourself, you know, you have to be constantly thinking about gauging what are you doing to relieve that pressure? What work are you putting in to take it off?
Yeah. I've seen, speaking of that, I've seen even a black belt, I won't say who, but he did not perform as well as he wanted to in a competition, not you. And
I haven't competed
you
as
had
a black
competed as a
belt.
black belt.
Yeah.
But I think it bothered him so much that he actually put out kind of like a pseudo apology message to his team. And while I thought it was really cool, at the same time, I was like, dude, nobody on your team is looking at you thinking that you're less than because you didn't win at a tournament, man. You've earned your place in position in everybody's hearts, and you don't have to worry about somebody thinking that, oh, wow, this guy lost. Like, nobody's thinking that about you. You're still an animal.
The people that train understand.
Yeah.
Like, most of the time, like, we're just thrilled at the fact that that person stepped out and is doing it. Like, they're putting themselves out there. They're trying the thing, and it's that's scary in itself.
It
so
is.
like we applaud that. At least the people that train typically would applaud that. But then every now and then you've got those guys who are losers that are the ones that are going to be judgmental of you.
Yeah.
And that's usually because they don't have an ounce of the courage that it takes to even step into that arena. And
they'll be the same ones that probably couldn't beat that individual on their worst day.
Right.
So it's just dealing with that kind of pressure. I could see why it makes it more challenging and more difficult for somebody to even want to step out to do that. So kudos to anybody who has the courage to step out to compete. I think it's, especially as an adult, I mean, you already have so much on the line and already so many different things that you're doing on a day-to-day basis. Whenever it comes time to compete, like you step out on those mats, that's impressive always to me.
Yeah, I mean, you can't worry too much about everybody around you. Like, that's how the competition atmosphere gets people. You have to have tunnel vision. You have to kind of put yourself in a position where people are not focused on you, like almost in your mind.
Yeah.
And then your only focus is on your opponent. I know lots of people who are amazing in the room, but then they get put into a competition environment and it's like
Opposite.
everything goes out the window. They forget jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
That's normal. Like,
is.
it's not odd, but that just means you have to expose yourself more to those
Just like you
circumstances. Yeah.
Just like you said, you have to, if you want to get better at it, just like the sport of jiu-jitsu, you got to do it more often. It can't be, I compete once every 6 years and think that just because I've put thousands of hours on the mats that I'll be able to step into that competition, because that's a muscle you got to work as well.
And not everybody's going to like you or want you to succeed. That's the other thing you have to accept. Like, some people are going to want to see you fail.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've competed. I've had people like cheer in my face after I've lost, and it's just, I mean, that's just a fact of life is you have to do it for reasons beyond validation from others.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. You have to do it for you. And if you're doing it for those reasons, you stop worrying about that stuff.
Right.
So.
Like me, whenever I've competed, always, I invite family and friends to come watch if they'd like to, but I always tell them, like, hey, don't interact with me. Like, because if you see the version of me in competition, the only people I really can interact with are other jiu-jitsu practitioners that I know have a concern or a care for me. So if it's competition day, I may sit at the house and I really don't even want to be at the arena until it's time for me to go out into the bullpen. But I focus right there where you're sitting. And when I'm ready, I call Alex. He'll take me to wherever it's going to be at. And we may talk on the way there. We may not. But once I get there, it's 20 burpees, and now it's time to go. I don't want to interact with people from my job or friends that may be there to see me, because I have to be in the right mental space. And that mental space is one for me of solitude, because I'm going out on this mat alone. Even though I've got a coach telling me what to do from the sideline, it's still me on the mat. So I want to be in a place where I could be alone but at peace, so that as soon as they call my name and I get to walk out on those mats, I could take a deep breath and forget everything else that's going on and just think, okay, let's see how quickly I can get this guy to the ground, twist his arm, and make this the end of it.
You put in a good point, because you do have to maintain an edge as a competitor. Now, some people can be relaxed, joyful, and go out there and just be a killer.
Yeah.
But some people, it's a specific mental twist that has to take place for them to lock into that persona of what they need to go out there and be in that moment. And I've seen guys sometimes get chatty with their opponents in the bullpen, and I'm like, bro, what are you doing, man? That guy is not your friend.
You know guys, what? I will say I do that as well too, though. Because I do it because at times you get a mental edge from it too. Like in reality, I'm thinking, I'm going to F you up, but I'm going to be nice about it. That way, when you go out, maybe your guard is down.
Yeah.
So that mine stays up.
Exactly. You're the other guy.
Exactly. I'm that
so
guy.
So I tell people, don't talk. I'm like, you can be cordial, of course, but like, don't fall for the trick, right?
Oh, yeah.
Which is...
because that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
The whole game of jiu-jitsu it's strategy.
It's mental, right?
It's a whole mental game of strategy.
You could be super athletic, but if you don't have that, if you have any ounce of disbelief in yourself, or that this guy's nice, I don't want to hurt him, well, better believe he's already locked into what he wants to do to you.
You better believe
so.
it. There was one guy that I competed with the first time I competed at Purple. He was, I'm glad Cody didn't tell me before, but apparently he was ranked number 1 in our division, like undefeated in Master 3. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm glad, Cody, you didn't tell me that, because that could have got in my head.
Yeah.
Like, that's not information I need going into this match, where this dude I later looked up had, good Lord, like everybody he met, he collar dragged and face planted into the mat. And so as soon as the match starts, he grabs my collar, and I'm thinking he's trying to pull a lapel. So I back up and I tuck my collar back in and I go, no, no, no. And again, still with the playful demeanor. But as soon as I got my grips, I tried for an ankle pick, didn't work, pulled guard. And from there on, it just became a battle of attrition, trying to either sweep from De La Riva, cross sleeve, lasso, whatever he would leave open. And I think I got close to a sweep, close enough that the ref gave me an advantage, but that ended up being the match, and literally I was his only loss for the whole season.
Yeah, and that was your first purple belt.
That was my first
right?
purple, yep.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah. I remember
yelling
that was a big deal.
like a madman.
Yeah, that's probably the last time I've really screamed at a tournament. I feel like
is. I haven't
you
don't scream
at tournaments anymore. Yeah,
but you were far away, so for you were in the stands, and I was a good distance away, so it made sense to yell.
That makes me think too. I think with experience, because you talk about too, James, how you kind of like don't talk to me when I'm in a tournament. I feel like now you might not be so like, I still think you would lock in, but I do also think that there is a sense of relaxation because you know how the process works. So because you have experience that you've done it a lot, doesn't mean that you're still not focused, but you're not as tense about it. Like I know for me, when I competed last as a brown belt, during that time, I kind of was like, I don't know. I'm gonna let you. What would you describe me as? Like very.
He was angry.
Yeah, I was like mad.
But you were also a brown belt.
And I had a lot of
And life was lifing.
life was life.
You had
I
a lot
love
of
that.
life going on.
Thank you for saying that, because
Yeah.
that is the truth, at least for me.
Like
But,
we all felt it.
yeah, and
A lot of pressure.
but now I think if I wanted to compete, here's what I would need. I would need to like really lock in on the times that I would need to train, but I wouldn't have the same pressure because I would be like, oh, what is there left to prove as a black belt? In a black belt division, that is the biggest division in jiu-jitsu.
Always.
Yeah. You have white belts, a lot of
white-
guys, blue belts, a lot of guys, purple drops off, brown belt, barely any.
Yeah,
And
it
then-
is barely any. I
and
think
then black
I looked at the
belt-
bracket. I think there may be 1 or 2 for me.
You know, I could draw a guy who's got a black belt when he was 18 years old. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
I got mine when I was,
Like 5 years ago?
yeah, exactly.
4 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Like, that's insane. So, I mean, in terms of the brackets, it's probably a lot in black, white, blue, purple, brown. Like,
Yeah.
brown is going to be where you probably see the least number of competitors because that's where people start. Purple is where people generally don't make it. And then by the time you get to a brown, for a Masters anyways, there's not a lot of guys that are crazy enough to be a Master 3 brown belt competing.
And now all that to say is I feel like that takes the pressure off unless you put it on yourself.
Yeah.
You're like, I've got to be the master world champion. Now, if you're putting that pressure on you, like we've said before, you got to have the actions to back it up.
Yeah.
But I do think, because we've been exposed to the game for so long, it's kind of like, there's no question of, am I doing this right? Am I going to, it's like, okay, like if I need to snap in and focus, I know exactly how to do that. I've done it before, and I don't feel as much pressure from that,
Yeah.
or anxiousness. I
And
guess.
it comes and goes, like you said earlier. Like you may have a moment where it's like, and I don't want to put anything in your head, but at the same time, if you were to feel pressure going into a black belt tournament, you could easily say, well, this is my first time doing it. I don't know how I'm going to do. There's a stage of folks looking at me, and I'll be the first to tell you that if you didn't do well in a tournament, I will fight the first person that says anything as far as Jeff's not good at jiu-jitsu, because that's not the truth.
You
at
know
all.
what? You know when I feel the most self-doubt? It's when I'm under the covers and it's either late at night or early in the morning, and I'm like, I don't want to train right now. I'm like, what if they called me out in 5 minutes? I would be in so much trouble. And I'm like, and then I get my day going and I start teaching classes, and then I'm like, bring out Andre Galvao right now, and I will smack
God.
his head. No, you know what I'm saying though.
Yeah,
Like we have
but you
levels
feel-
during the day when
you
we
do.
feel extra confident versus. And you have to pay
do.
attention to that. It's like, all right, why am I feeling this way? Well, it's freaking 11 p.m. at night. I just ate a
Right.
whole pizza. you
Yeah.
know, like
I mean, it comes and goes. So
Yeah.
you have to understand that the pressure you feel, while it may be, it's the exact same pressure, but throughout the course of the day, the way you feel about it can change. So
Yeah.
you don't have to think to yourself that every moment I've got to be on my A game as I walk through life, because nobody is. It is ebbs and flows.
so. I think we've covered a lot for jiu-jitsu. And when I think of pressure as it relates to life, I'm trying to think for myself where I felt that pressure. And as I've said before, I do feel less of it the older I get, not more of it. How do you feel in that regard?
I think it comes and goes. It depends on what season of life you're in. You can feel pressure from your job with due dates and requirements that need to be met. And you got jiu-jitsu, but for those of us that have a 9 to 5, or
Real jobs,
a
yeah.
7 to 9 at night, you will feel pressure to make things happen, to make sure people are performing as the way they need to, goals are met, objectives are achieved. You can feel the pressure of family members wanting to make sure they have what they need. Like, I've got 2 kids, so that means I've got 2 people that have wants and needs. And there's always a pressure to give them what they need, but additional pressure to give them what they want out of life. And as a parent, I think we all have a little bit of ourselves where we say, okay, I want to give you everything you want, but I don't want to make you a ruined person. So I have to kind of gauge how much of your wants that I fulfill versus your needs. But I think there's so many different places that you deal with pressure just walking around. There's even just in your any other community circle that you're a part of, a member of your church. You're going to feel pressure there to tithe. You're going to feel pressure to give an offering. You're going to feel pressure to do the extra things that they're asking of you. And while you may want to, there are times where you may not want to, and you'll still feel that pressure. So it comes in a lot of different ways.
I think you hit the nail on the head, like pressure being something you don't want to deal with a lot of times. And common reaction to pressure is to run away.
Yeah.
And I can certainly say as a younger man that I didn't like the idea of pressure, so I just completely abandoned the idea of it. I didn't want to put myself in situations where I felt pressure.
Yeah.
Now, as like an older gentleman, not like old, but you
like
know,
pipe smoking,
yeah,
monocle wearing
not Hugh
gentleman.
Hefner old, but you know, I think of pressure more like in terms of my children, like you had mentioned before. You know, both of my kids are neurodivergent, so sometimes I feel like I have added pressure compared to other people because of their condition to help them learn how to live a life independently. But I forget sometimes that there's people who are neurotypicals that have everything they could have ever needed or wanted handed to them, and they don't know how to live life.
Yeah.
And so in a lot of ways that takes the pressure off. And I also think about if you care as a parent, just speaking about pressure in terms of parenting, because you put pressure on yourself to be a good parent means you're a good parent.
Yeah.
And, you know, as long as you're willing to grow from your mistakes and, you know, you keep pushing forward to improve the lives of your children and the people around you, I think that's a good thing, especially if you want to do it. Yeah, that takes the pressure off.
And I mean, it's not only the pressure that you feel throughout your day-to-day walk in life, it's also the pressure you apply as well. Because I know that I put my children in a position where they feel pressure to perform well. And while it may not be intentional, it's the way they interpret it. As an example, if I see one of them that's spending more time doing the things that are for the sake of fun, as opposed to the things that are for their future, I'll put pressure on them to say, hey, you might want to focus more on this instead of that, because those things are short and fleeting, while the focus on your school efforts is going to be what determines your future. Like, you need to make sure that that's always your priority. So yeah, I generate a lot of pressure on my children to perform well in those aspects. Like I've talked about multiple times, I'm teaching Jarrell how to drive, and last Saturday and just yesterday, I let him drive home from the gym, and he does a very good job. But there are times where he doesn't listen well. So I'm telling him to do something, and I'm actively watching him do the opposite. So I put pressure on him to get him to understand, man, I know what I'm talking about. When I tell you to turn that wheel this way, I'm telling you because I've experienced it, because I know it. I'm not telling you because I think it's a good idea. And every time we get to certain points, he struggles, and we'll stop and we'll talk about it. And I'll make sure I drive home the fact that you are driving a 2-ton bullet. The second you make the wrong move here, you could kill us or somebody else. Like, that's a lot of responsibility, but it's also pressure. It's pressure to perform well. And while you'll get it, you just got to understand, like, these aren't those places where too many mistakes are forgiven, because it could go bad quickly. So I want him to understand how much responsibility he has whenever he's behind that wheel, but also want him to know how much faith and trust I have in him, because of the simple fact I'm letting you sit in this seat. If I didn't think you could do it, we wouldn't be here at all.
Yeah, it makes me think of, the weight of the circumstances on me as an individual who needs to deal pressure in social situations. Mm-hmm. So, like, with driving a car, you absolutely have to apply more pressure to a student because it's a life or death skill.
It is.
Versus like my son who got in trouble recently for chasing a kid around the cafeteria saying he was going to smack the kid in the ass with a lunchbox.
Yeah.
I get a call from the teacher about this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I got to put pressure on this kid to not misbehave. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to put so much pressure on him that he lies to me.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do I come across as somebody who's safe, but still apply the right amount of pressure so that he gets the point that this is important?
Yeah.
And so I think it's case by case. And, we had a moment the other day. And two, sometimes I just reach a threshold of anger where I'm like, I can't get more angry. Like, if I got more angry, it would start bleeding into like, all right, police are getting called. Like, like I'm being put in a straitjacket. Like there's no more, I can't go any higher. That's the threshold.
Yeah.
And so where's there left to go? Once you're at your threshold, it's down.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, I go, look, man, like, I'm not going to get mad. You got a bad marking in school today. Just tell me what happened. What's going on? Like, I don't just just go crazy and crazy trying to pull what little hair I have out to get him to do what I need him to do to behave. I just have to be a support to a certain degree for him and not put so much pressure and have him feel like I can't talk to my dad because
he's a psycho.
He's insane. He'll kill me.
Yes,
That's what's
he's going to try to murder me. It's obvious. He has no self-control.
Now, but with like relationships, when people put pressure on one another to change, that's kind of a tough situation because it's like you knew who this person was when you got with them. The sad thing, though, is that sometimes people change while you're with them. Like things slip, people lose themselves, and then all of a sudden there's pressure to come back to who you were when you first met, and that can.
In those cases, it's you almost whenever you're in a relationship with someone, you have to expect them to change because we all do. Like it's genetic, it's mandatory for life. We all have to change. Your body will change, which as a result will make you change the way you respond and react to things. So
requires both people.
It does. So you have to, when getting in a relationship, I think you got to really look at the person and give it time. Give time to see like, hey, is this someone that I really, really gel with or vibe with? And like with my wife, I've known her 22, 23 years now. And of that, we've been married 20 years. And so I've seen her change a lot and she's seen me change a lot. And we kind of just find our way to meld with each other over and over again. So
yeah, I think when one person feels like they don't have anything to change and another person and only the other party does, that's when there's a problem. Yeah. Right? Because if patience is a huge thing that everybody can work on.
Always.
Hell, that's a topic, isn't it?
Patience.
Lock that in for an episode for you guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, it requires effort on both parties. Like nobody can sit there and say like, I don't have anything I need to work on. Like I don't ever do anything wrong.
Yeah,
it was
if you
this
say
person.
That's the first thing you need to work on.
It was this person. This person was doing this. This person was doing that. Poor me. It's like at a certain point, there has to be some responsibility taken. Yeah. Like to own your perspective.
Yeah. Because if you are the person that thinks that I don't have anything to change and I haven't done anything wrong, there are instances where you may not have done anything wrong, but we all should be changing and evolving as time goes on. Yeah. If you are staying the exact same way, the only things that for the most part stay the same way are things that are dying. And even after things die, they still evolve further. So you have to change. You have to be open to it. You have to be willing to let your walls down and let yourself go through those evolutions to become a better version of yourself.
Now, circling back to pressure from a job, I think we've talked about this on previous episodes, but understanding if the juice is worth the squeeze or not. You have to ask yourself, is the amount of money you're making worth the pressure?
Yeah.
And is the pressure affecting your well-being and your happiness enough to where the money's not that important? So that's, I think, the balance that everybody has to decide for themselves in those moments. I believe your happiness will always be superior to any amount of money you could make.
Yeah.
Most people live beyond their means. So I think
that's where the pressure comes in.
That's where the pressure comes in, because they have a mortgage that they shouldn't have. They have other monthly payments. They have things that, they have a shopping habit that they're trying to fulfill.
Or a significant other with a shopping habit.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
talk about putting pressure indirectly onto your spouse,
you put pressure
from your
on yourself
habits, from your bad
from
habits.
someone else. Yeah.
So, and that's, it might take a huge uphauling of your life to relieve pressure.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it is something that I always think, putting pen to paper, man, that has helped my life so much. When I felt the pressure of resentment, expectations of others, and all the things in my life that have kind of fueled my addictions and the stuff I've struggled with, when I've listed those things out and I've written out what I'm angry about, what it affected, whether it be my ego or whatever, and then this is the part where people forget, then I put down my part in all of these situations.
Yeah.
When you can sincerely look at your part in your struggles, the pressure that you feel, your resentments, when you can look at it plainly on paper, it's like, oh, I'm not, this isn't all just happening to me. I play a part in creating it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. There are times where if you can look at the situation you're in and take ownership of what caused it that you contributed to, I think a lot of times you might help relieve some of that pressure on it your own, just by saying, you know what, I'm partly here because I put myself here. Where the situation may not be what I want it to be, at least I know what got me here. So now I know maybe I can make better decisions that'll help pull me out of it. Another thing I was thinking while you were talking is just pressure isn't always a bad thing, though. Pressure gives you the opportunity to act as well. So in an instance of performing your best at something, some people perform better because of the pressure. I know a lot of people that I've interacted with, they are looking for challenges out of life. And whenever they get met with a challenge, which AKA is also pressure, they rise to the occasion and they step out onto what they know, and they perform better because they've been put in a situation where they had to perform either now or never.
There's a movie that I always see clips of on social media. It's one of those movies where you feel like you pretty much have seen the whole movie, but
just
you never
because you've seen clips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
somebody showed me all the important parts.
Yeah, it's called Whiplash. It's about a drummer, and it's got a couple guys who are pretty well known. I couldn't tell you the actors' names, but it revolves around a guy who is learning to play jazz drums. He's joining a band. I don't know if it's in college or if it's actually a legit, jazz band he's trying to join, but it's a guy who, there's a guy who is the conductor, and he's the one that pushes everybody to keep time, to keep tempo. And, but the way he coaches and how much pressure he puts, like this dude, the guy was off time and he slings a cymbal at him, and like guy has to duck to get out of the way. And,
this is a documentary, by the way.
Really intense. No, I mean, it's not a documentary. It's I don't know if it could be based in truth. I don't know if it was a true story or not, but just how the pressure, like the people, like the guy, that coach, like he was judged for his methods, but he would bring out the best in people through the harsh pressure he would put on the performers to be at their best. So.
Yeah. I mean, I hear it all the time how pressure creates diamonds. And the interesting part about that a lot of people don't mention is I don't know a lot of different uses for diamonds other than like jewelry. But they only have value because we say they have value. So if you are wanting to be a better version of yourself, I mean, you have to decide what that value is and how much pressure you're willing to take to be that person.
One thing about diamonds I can say is they're beautiful and they're rare.
Yeah.
So it's like, in terms of performance,
they're not that rare.
Well, now they can be made in a lab.
Yeah,
but let's just say
that too. But I was looking at with the whole Artemis 2 thing, just talking about different planets. Apparently, there is a planet where its core is diamond.
That's pretty dope.
It is, because so much pressure on the planet as a whole, it's turned its core into diamond. But it's still there, so it's not nearly as rare. If it came here, then diamonds wouldn't have as much value as they have, as we've perceived them to have.
We didn't even really get into the whole AI aspect of the pressure people feel with their jobs. I mean, I think there was a company recently. Oh gosh, what is the name of this company? But I've known at least 2 people who've been laid off from one of these jobs where, massive layoff, 30,000 people.
Was it Oracle?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that's scary for people in the IT tech industry. It's scary for musicians too.
Artists, period.
Actors, there's a lot of things happening in the media nowadays. But what's interesting too is, and I feel like the world is turning this way, and where it becomes more about entertainment and art, kind of almost like a renaissance among human beings, because everything is so automated and most jobs are, done by robots and AI now, that we really lean on the talents and the uniqueness of each other. Yeah. Which kind of doesn't help with the we're not special kind of thing, but
but even still, when AI first started to become a big thing, that was one of the first things people were playing with is, can I make a movie?
Yeah.
And it did. I think you can still see them on YouTube. There's several videos of complete stories. Not a single person wrote it, not a person in it, and a whole program created it, beginning to end. While it may not make a lot of sense, it's still a story, and that's just the beginnings of it. So just imagine what it looks like now. And I think that's why a lot of the acting guilds have kind of petitioned so that AI can't be used in those situations. I don't know where that's gone, but that's a lot of pressure. I mean, I've spent years of my life trying to hone a craft, and just overnight a computer can come and take away something that seems like it's pretty important to have people in. That could be life-changing.
Yeah, it's like the general opinion of AI doesn't seem to be very positive, but I think it just brings to light.
Everybody uses it behind closed doors.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we use it to help with segmenting out how we want to run the podcast. Yeah. It helps me with all kinds of different things with the organization. Just in general, that's the biggest thing I need help with. But but I think in terms of people losing their jobs and stuff, I think it should be viewed more as opportunity to connect more with each other, because I think that's what people are going to really start to lean on more in the future is I can't trust if this is real or not, but I know this dude and I see him in person and I've seen him with this talent in person. So I think it's going to really going to end up bringing us closer together. I think people are going to end up being less on their phones because of this, or they're going to have there's going to be, I tend to like to be optimistic about these things, man. I think that's important.
Oh yeah, it's good to be optimistic, but I think in all the things that mankind has created, we always find a devious use for everything. Right. While you can have something with the purest intentions and it could be great for society, there's always somebody that's going to try to find a way to use it for war. So I think it's got its goods and its bad sides, just like everything else.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and just end on a positive note
Ah,
instead
there you
of
go.
ending
There you
on
go.
what the note that you want to end on.
I didn't say we were ending. I'm just saying that's.
No, I know. But we've got to be close to an hour.
Oh yeah, we're 54 minutes.
That's good, man. Okay. Yeah, I tend to lose train of thought after about 50 minutes. I'm like, what the heck else are we going
I'm
to talk
feeling
about?
brain fog. We're probably close to being done. Let me check with James.
Pressure to keep this podcast entertaining.
Right.
We don't do, you know what, I used to have a lot of pressure to deliver a good podcast so I didn't have to edit much.
Yeah.
But where we have experience in the past and the way that we do things now, I don't have to do a whole lot of editing. I don't feel a whole lot of pressure to be somebody I'm not. I feel like I give my genuine best self when we do these things. So, and that's partly due to you, buddy.
Oh, I don't believe that.
It's nice doing a podcast with your buddy.
Yeah.
If we were strangers, it'd be maybe a little different.
If we were strangers, I don't know that we'd be doing a podcast. Some random dude. Hey, you feel like doing a podcast on Sunday at your house? Okay, sure. That would just completely be weird to ask a stranger, can we do a podcast?
Weird. It's not weird.
Yeah, it's not weird. It's just
I love gold. I don't know why that popped in my head.
because of that necklace. It's not gold,
It ain't
though.
gold, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, man. $20 at Marshall's, baby.
Killing it out here. I see you. Bling, bling.
I had a moment, though, today where I was like, should I wear this? Should I not wear this? And I was like, I like it. I asked, you know what I did? I asked Bowen, my son, my youngest.
What'd he say?
I was like, do you like this chain? He goes, I go, yeah. They don't ever want to wear chains, but
Really?
they're okay with me wearing them. So,
Hey, they'll get it one day.
yeah,
Maybe they don't want to mess it up. Maybe that's what they're thinking.
maybe.
Yeah. Jarrell, he goes through his episodes. He used to be big into necklaces and bracelets and all kinds of stuff, and now he's just down to, I think, a bracelet that my mom got him.
That's cool.
Yeah, he wears it, and he's worn it to the point where it's worn out. Like, it's almost ready to be replaced. He's worn it so long.
Yeah, it's all about just comfort and look, and every day's different.
Sentimental
man.
value.
So, yeah, exactly. That definitely plays a role.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well,
Cool.
guys, we did it.
Yeah. Number
10th
10.
episode, yeah.
Yeah.
So we really appreciate those of you who have stuck by us. Now, this is our commitment to you guys. We record every Sunday, but we plan to at least drop an episode a week. This is something I meant to say in the beginning of the episode. The other thing, too, is we're not always going to use the beginning of the episode to promote and get you guys to subscribe and do all that. We want to try to keep this as authentic of an experience as possible between us and you. So, but because it's the end of the episode, we're gonna ping you one more time to go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube. You can follow us on Spotify, Instagram, Facebook. Comment, like, share videos, tell your friends, tell your mama, tell your boss, tell your children.
Tell your husband, tell your wife.
Yeah,
We out here doing podcasts for everybody.
there you go. And yeah, you can follow us. Our handle is @BeOnTheMats. That is 4 words all squished together as one word. And any other closing thoughts, James?
No, man, just don't be scared of pressure. It will come. It will pass. You will survive.
I like that. Appreciate you guys.